Hey YouTube and LinkedIn, I wanted to do a video on metrics that matter for research sites because in the era that we're in now, the era of big data and risk-based monitoring, sponsors and CROs, the good ones at least, which are many of them, are tracking metrics, okay? And you may be overwhelmed and intimidated and even blindsided because they don't tell us what metrics they track, but you can make some educated guesses and you can network with people, other researchers, people from the CRO space, colleagues. This is why networking is so important in our industry because you can get up to date with what's fresh out on the market, fresh in the industry. Like, what are the newest trends? Risk-based monitoring has been trending for years now, but what does that actually mean? So they're tracking you, all right? If you're a research site, they're tracking everything. So first thing they're tracking is recruitment and enrollment. Okay? Are you enrolling patients? What are you putting in your feasibility surveys? And then how many of those, like, what's the difference between what you said you're going to randomize and what you actually did? And also, they can get even more granular. So how quickly did you say on the feasibility survey that you anticipate to screen your first subject or randomize your first subject? And then what actually happened? Because nobody cares about what you put down on a feasibility survey. They care about your results, right? The proof is in the pudding. So enrollment is big. Screen fail ratio is big also. Okay, how many patients? Screen fail ratio. How many patients did you say you were going to screen fail? What did you say your screen fail ratio was anticipated to be? And then what is it actually like? They're keeping metrics. Okay, so those are recruitment stuff. Now, for the actual operations, they are tracking, and I know this because I just talked to an auditor the other day, and he told me, right? They're tracking queries. I don't know how to spell queries. They're tracking protocol deviations. Okay. They're tracking, with queries, they're tracking how many, both frequency and speed. So how many do you get compared to the average site for that study? And then how quickly do you resolve them? Okay. Protocol deviations, obviously self-explanatory. How many do you commit versus other sites graded on a curve based on how many patients you've randomized. So how many deviations per subject randomized is another metric that they track. Queries is not just EDC. Okay, queries could be in the IWRS. So are you how soon once your site receives a new IP shipment is it logged in? How soon do you respond to queries in those systems? Because those are often separate systems from the EDC systems. Okay, same thing with the ECG vendor, same thing with the lab queries. Okay, all these vendors sometimes have queries. I've been told this just last week by someone who said these things are being tracked, right? So queries, protocol deviations, these are the metrics that matter. Enrollment, I'm sure there's other ones, but it's not coming to mind right now. Obviously, PI oversight, which could be reflected in some of these things as well, but just, I guess, a more subjective overview of PI oversight would be monitoring letters and maybe how frequently they've met with the PI at their visits physically versus on the phone or just not at all. But that's just an educated guess by myself. It's not, I have not confirmed that, but these are the ones that I've confirmed. Metrics that matter. These should be obvious if you've done this for a while, but maybe not. But just be aware because they are tracking these things, and then they use these to determine whether your site needs retraining, needs to be put on a screening hold, will be offered future studies. Very important. This is like the new report card for sites. And I'm sure there's other criteria, so leave in the comments other criteria that you think or you've heard of that might be important, metrics that matter for research sites. And it should be a good webinar. Maybe we'll do a webinar one of these days on this and we can dive deeper into this topic. Thanks LinkedIn and YouTube, and I'll talk to you later.